Mayor.
She's on the head and that's secret.
So probably, April 5th, our special review board meeting together at 5:33. Roll call.
Gary Miller,
Here.
Brian Parsons,
Here.
Dennis Serena.
Sure. All right, approval of the minutes from March 15th, 2022 meeting. Any comments?
Move to approve.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Approved. First item on the agenda, ARB case 2207, 1560 Dell Road, an existing porch, front porch. Mr. Brickman.
Can we come forward?
Sure, come ahead.
This is my first one.
It's okay.
Discuss this here.
So, go ahead, tell us what you're thinking you're doing here.
Okay, well, it's already done.
Okay, so you want through that? No.
Let me just start by saying that, this house was completely dilapidated. It was falling apart when we bought it, from the inside out. Originally, there was a front porch on it, and it extended about 8 feet out. It was falling apart, and so what we decided to do is we tore all that out, and we shrunk it in a little bit, so now it's 6 feet out toward the road, and then wrapped it around the side, and it's still leaving 4 feet between the porch that you see here and the driveway.
So this is the front of the house.
That's the side of the house.
Side of the house.
That right there is the front of the house.
Oh, I see.
And so what we did is you can see between the two front windows on the right, there was a step out that had the front door and then it had 8 feet of porch extending from there. So we took out the bump out, we rearranged the windows, we moved over the door, and then we built the porch. Also, we sided the whole house and then we did the metal roof on the top. On the side of the house, you could also see, in one of the other pictures, that there's stairs going, wrapping around kind of the back, they go down to the garage. You can see at the far end there.
Yeah.
And they wrap toward the garage, and then there's another set of stairs here on the front and on the left-hand side.
So it looks like the stairs in the front are not 6 feet wide.
There,
On the left of the, so,
I don't know, I believe, according to my drawings, they are, but I have to go measure them.
and I realize the railings are not installed yet.
Well, I wasn't gonna put railings,
Okay.
I was gonna leave it because we're within code.
Yeah, no, that I understand. It shows the railing when you're drawing, you look from the steps, the posts.
Right here?
Just right here.
Oh, on the stairs. Yeah, I think we were talking about putting some rails here. I'm not sure if we need that or not, but I mean, we can.
And it looks like the, I'm just in the two posts that are there on the photograph. So you got these two posts and stairs centered on that, which doesn't, that's not too
That
bad.
looks alright. Well, we can always extend that out, so if you recommend that. Unless this right here makes, unless this picture makes go, that, you know.
So is there a reason that you, I mean, it looks like you've got, let's just say, you got these two posts here, the door is not centered, this door is not centered between here and here. But it looks like, I mean, the photograph looks like, I don't think they are. What is,
Well, here's the post here, and then here's the two posts there, and then the door center.
so this is a well pump right here?
No,
A well pump?
And we're gonna cover that with a rock. There's
That's
several
right in
feet,
front of the steps, isn't it?
it's several feet in front of the stairs.
Okay. I guess part of what I'm wondering is would it make sense to put the stairs, between those two posts, instead of brought entry to the entrance.
Right, it probably would. It would probably look nicer too. So they did the porch before we moved the door. So
Oh.
we're still fine tuning. And actually what I'd like to do too is do some kind of a trellis on the bottom, you know, so that it hides the space between the porch and the ground.
Is that a lattice?
Lettuce, I think that would look really nice. But even just letters, and really kind of preventing us from doing
Yeah,
it
like
outside,
it.
so.
Yeah, and I think it's something that, like that, that's not, what's the finish of the thing on the post and that's,
That is cedar wrap.
those are cedars, so you're giving them cedar.
You need cedar.
Not,
That's a very expensive cedar wrap. It's gonna have to stay, so there's cedar wrap there, and then there's the cedar on that.
because eventually they'll gray out like others, so I didn't know if you were gonna put them on them, but some things are staying on it, or just. I mean, it doesn't matter, if you gray out too,
Yeah,
that's not, I'm not saying,
that's something that the buyer can do,
so,
eventually, because we're gonna be putting this house on the market.
okay, so you bought the house to.
So
fix
right
it,
away,
flip it.
yes. We probably will seal it, because,
It's beautiful without this, but this one, but it changes. That's all,
okay,
that's all
okay.
I'm saying.
I've never done a cedar wrap, so I've never even done a porch. This is our first house that we're doing a porch, so.
Was there any intent to update the garage doors?
Those- Oh, right, they're black, right, two matching black garage doors.
Nobody will have a window. Over that.
There's two garage doors.
The main door next to it is black as well.
Right now, no, the main door is white, but there's two garage doors. You can only see one here. There's
Right.
another
There's
garage door
others
to
to
the
the
left.
left, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're both black without windows. And then we are also going to redo the driveway.
There's a driveway.
That's the driveway. Yeah. We're waiting until all the workers are out. and then we'll get it redone. It looks terrible.
When you do the skirting, I assume you'll remove the existing steps and regrade
Yes,
along the sides.
yes. And then again, here, we'll probably do some kind of a lattice work underneath on that side as well,
Yeah, and
just to make it look finished.
Yeah, I think the skirting will help a lot.
it would, I'm not sure if you can get lattice, but can you get lattice in large sheets?
You can go 8 feet tall.
4 by 8 feet.
They probably something like it to sit it up.
Yeah,
You have to do structure, you can definitely do it.
You make like you're doing it.
I do a lot of vertical one bys, that looks good. It'll look better immediately. It'll change the whole look of it.
Well, no, I understand, I mean, at least you want to do it.
I'll
Whatever
do
you You want to do, you want to do it. Right.
I'll either do white or black or something to match the cedar, one of those three options. But I would like to actually look at it and clean it out before I make that decision.
You guys have any comments?
one thing, I guess, that on the front there, the steps and the kind of the post placement around the front door would have been the ideal.
Move the stairs over.
Yeah, I think the stairs in front of the front door and then having kind of some kind of a logic to where the posts and
I agree.
stairs.
I agree.
You can make it move post or maybe even say a half, something like that to give you the width of the stairs. It could be 5 foot wide, maybe 20 wide.
I agree. I think we will end up doing that in front of the front door. It's very awkward right there. I mean, we are gonna put a big stone on the wall head, but I don't like where the stairs are.
So you're suggesting that the stairs be, let's say,
I think,
5 feet wide and then
I
have.
think, yeah, I mean, it's 5, 6 feet wide, what they've got called out, put in front of the door, and then make the posts, you could send it on the door somewhere about it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Do you think I need rails going down? Would you recommend, or do you think it's okay to leave that? Because that's not gonna be.
Otherwise,
Probably would
the
be
20 inches above grade is where you get into the code issue, and a guardrail.
It's 30.
But nonetheless,
Oh, well, that's railing versus
we're talking about.
guardrail versus a handrail.
Yeah.
There's a little, I'm not sure, maybe I am.
No, you could.
One is where you gotta have all the foreign spacing, the other one is just, you gotta have a great launch.
Right.
I prefer no handrail, because I think it would
I
attract.
think the grade is close enough there, especially if you take it a little bit, you can be out, if you want, especially if you're going to kind of walk in.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have an issue. That would be, something somebody feels a need to have it there, so you put it in, but
And you feel like 6 feet?
a 6 is a very nice comfortable, inviting stair.
Yeah,
Five would be, I think, adequate in that range.
5,
So
6.
5 feet, whatever, 5 feet looks okay, you think 5 feet
Yeah.
looks okay?
So, I think with what we're talking about here, Ryan, what other comments do you have?
I think the only other comment, and I don't know that I'm looking at finished grade, I assume not in these photos, but just be cognizant and careful of where your grading lies and whether you're putting guardrails on there or not. Because in looking at the photos, I think there's some areas here that would probably require guards.
Sure.
I'll remeasure and make sure if it's
Yeah.
above 30 feet.
Especially on the side elevation,
Okay.
where the stairs and all that stuff was
Well,
before.
they have a guy on there, they got it.
Yeah, you've got to start it, but like if
You
you.
might be a little close on the street.
Yeah.
Might probably bring it up to that front corner while you're at it, might as well.
It just, to me, it takes away from that open porch look that we were
Mhm.
going for. But I thought we measured to make sure that we were still in code, but I'll check and see.
And I agree with the, I think it does need skirting and also relocating the stairs.
So I think what we want to do is have you come back with drawings that show how you're going to screw the thing around the corner and how you're going to work that out. I don't like, just, you can show the stairs in the right location. And, yeah, I think they need to be, need up to the drawings. So, I would make a motion to have this revised as submitted.
Anyone's, yeah, I guess, front steps, railing situation, skirting.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to specify on there?
And no, you're right, it's the front steps, the screening, the railings, and that. What I would say, for my comments would be revised as submitted, with those comments picked up.
And the railings only if they're not within code.
Yeah, I mean, probably Dave,
Yeah.
try to go next week, so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, great.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to vote.
You made a motion to have it in.
Thanks for the lot of work.
Based on
Beautiful.
relocation of the stair, railings, to be added where necessary, and skirting.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just gonna put another 20 foot to the center of the stairs.
Yeah, I think you can, that's probably adequate.
And then just gonna say,
I put some notes on here, but I think it's just the minutes are pretty straightforward.
Never really. This just a draw page, you know?
not the- I just don't want to say it, but you would. Just don't have the rest.
Oh, what's happening now? Yeah. I don't know what it's not. I really like
It's
it.
going on like that.
Take that, those good.
There you go.
Mhm.
That's
Not really very fun.
Okay, second.
Great fun.
Yeah. All right, so, agenda item number 2 is Casey, ARB 2208. 49 Cascade Drive, release patio enclosure rebuild in wood, presented by Allison Monroe. Yeah, yes.
Excuse me, can you have them use the microphone? I'm sorry, I forgot. the last-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the last one. Thanks, Alex.
Sure.
I think
You want me to
that's
stand up here
just,
still, or?
You're gonna see.
It should be green, when it's on,
It's
unlike the other,
Is it working?
it's for YouTube, so.
Yes, it shows the green, it's not, it's good.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you want me to just take
You
a
gotta
seat
be
somewhere?
Yeah.
So, generally, we're just gonna tear down the patio enclosure structure, and rebuild it as wood structure. It originated, we're gonna redo our siding, so we wanted to address this first. Pretty straightforward, just less windows, or less sliders. We're gonna put in windows to match existing. Like to have the floor height be the same as the house. So it's set up about 10 inches higher than what it does now, but match the existing roof line. It might be best to explain from the existing pictures. My $8 an app subscription here doesn't give us a very good visual. Yeah, so that roof line, see how it ties in lower, we'd like it to obviously sit up higher so that it will look a little bit better. We'll have steps coming down, one step down out onto the driveway. Slider there, 2 double hungs on this side. And then skylights are going away. If you don't mind going to one of the other elevations. Over here, it's kind of got a weird roof line how it stops. We're gonna carry that roof line. There'll be like a deck that'll be the same height and then it'll step down onto the patio there. So the roof will tie together when you look at it from the east. Which is this picture here. See how it kind of cuts off there, so that'll continue the whole way.
All right, so, yeah, I understand, and what you want to do is make a big improvement. I'm not seeing the drawings that reflect the work, and so, we require, floor plans, elevation sections, on scale.
Do you have this?
I have that.
Okay.
I think that's what that is. Yeah, that's the floor plan.
Okay.
I don't see elevations of the house, showing how it's going on.
Yeah, we're seeing the addition itself, but not how it relates to anything else.
Right, so,
So,
Roof in particular, yeah.
gotcha.
yeah, so, I mean, just to cut the chase here, what you've got going on here, I think is gonna be, it sounds like you got the idea to do something that would be nice. It's just not presented in the drawings that we have right now. You're showing a floor plan, which is fine.
Mm.
Generally speaking, the floor plan would be showing how it is connected to the existing house and the elevations of the house. I think for this particular case, you have 3 existing elevations that will show what the new is going to be, how it's going to tie into it. I don't see that here. So we're going to table this until we come back with that kind of information.
Even with it being exactly what's there, correct?
Then
So I just understand you get someone to draw me exactly what's there.
from what you described, it's not exactly what's there.
10 inches, exactly what's there, 10 inches higher with this.
But that would mean what you're showing here is, that even what you're showing here is not exactly what's there now.
Right, it doesn't show, I don't know if there's anything there that shows the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think showing the roof how it ties in with the existing, that's going to be different, for sure. What you're saying
Yeah.
is-
Especially if you're raising it 10 inches.
Yeah, and, get the gist of what the room is gonna look like. But it's how it ties in with everything is a big deal.
Okay, and that needs to be a stamp drawing, or,
does not need to be stamped, it
Just-
just needs to be compared to scale, you need, floor plans, you should have floor plan at 1/4 inch scale, minimum. You need, elevations drawn at 1/4 inch scale, showing existing what's, you can have, you can show in one plan how you're taking off, but, obviously putting it back on. And then, your elevations are gonna show the existing house with the new added, how it ties in, how everything fits together, what the materials are, what you're gonna use, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's. pretty
So-
straightforward.
If you don't mind, we're going back up to one of the pictures where you can see where it touches the existing house.
You're talking about these,
Yeah, or if you could go down to one of the other sides. So like right here, all you wanna see is that roof line map, I guess, I'm gonna draw the existing house as it stands, and you just wanna see that same structure on the foundation.
Yeah, you need a set of drawings that reflect that.
Yeah, you got the back
We don't
wall
know
of the
about-
house and,
Yeah.
and the roof and how the new roof is gonna tie together with it.
Yeah,
You got 3 sides, so there's all you're really dealing with there, so.
Right.
The whole picture, basically.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you look on, I think that the requirements for what's required for submission are on the village website.
Sure.
So I would suggest going to that, that's gonna tell you what you need for us to be able to review it. And you don't have that right now.
Yeah, so, I was just hoping that, it's a visual picture was a whole lot better than what I can put on paper to give you guys a feel, but I'm happy to draw something.
Yeah, I would suggest, I mean, that's
It
just.
would make a nice look a lot better than.
I'm not suggesting that you can't draw, but I mean, somebody knows how to put together a set of drawings that are.
Yeah, I'm gonna wind up having to hire someone to do it, so. I just didn't know if this was simple enough, we didn't have to go that route or not, but.
Yeah.
So,
The other key is to also, because looking at the information is, what is the intent? Is it going to be stained wood? Is it going to be painted to match the house?
so siding,
So
vinyl siding to the house. So the goal is that, this is why we're doing it, before we reside, we want the roof, everything to tie together, not look patched together.
And your drawings that you're gonna submit are gonna identify the materials and you're gonna be able to see what does the trim look like, where does the siding go? If you're using lap siding, where does the lap siding go? Where does where you have corner boards, how you trim it out around the windows and doors, that kind of thing. Those are the pieces and parts that should be shown on the drawing so we can understand it and review.
Very good.
Okay?
Thanks for your time.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah, right.
thank you, we'll be in touch.
Agenda item 3A case ARB 2209, 103 Frontal, remove existing front porch and replace with covered porch. Presented by Matt Graber.
Yep, that's me.
You don't both projects?
No, I just know Kristen.
No.
That's the first time I've ever seen the house, I'm not even sure where it is.
So, you're taking off the front porch, right? Existing front porch, which is, looks like it's brick masonry.
No, there's an existing front deck. I don't know if you have pictures of that. That small cream painted deck, that's all coming off. And we'll replace it with a covered front porch with a small reverse.
With the photographs of that house.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, as soon as I find them, I sure will.
Okay, take your time. It's hard to tell from what's going on at the very edge.
Yeah. Send it to you.
So there's, porch was all the way across the front.
Yeah, so there's the existing deck. The new porch, you can tell from the drawing, is gonna start about between the bay window and the small oval window and go 25 feet north, all the way to a foot from the end of the house.
Which way is it north?
To your right.
So, that's somewhere.
Yeah, so that's what it would look like. It's 25 feet wide, it comes out 10 feet. The small gable would match the existing gable as far as trim, party board siding, paint color.
So what is this material?
Rosetta Stone.
So that's stone, but that's nothing, it's not sitting on a foundation.
No, what that would be basically like a beam post foundation.
That's sort of like siding.
It is. It's real stone, but it screws right to a wood wall.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool stuff. So that would be going all along the front, along the bottom, and the garage.
Okay.
And that rim board would be white. Most everything would be white except for the Rosetta Stone, and the gable, small gable would match the existing color. Party room.
So there should be a picky there, but this is projecting out.
Yes, there should be a line
So
of
it
the
should be a line there.
You're right.
Do you have light fixtures picked out? Or are those existing?
Those are existing. There would be no added ones. Those are existing.
Okay.
There's a good side elevation that really shows it. It's all marked up with all the materials and everything.
Yeah, that's in the.
Yeah, I saw that.
You want that side elevation?
That's kind of more of a construction side elevation. That's how it would be constructed. Cable railing, that's what we're looking at, all white with nine strands of stainless cable. That small roof pitch will be a 212. The existing reverse is a 512. So that valley coming down
So this is a 512, this is a 212?
Yes, exactly. So the valley coming down on the right-hand side of the gable, the existing valley will come down, and it'll kind of, it'll have a throw in it. The valley won't be straight, you won't be able to see it, but in order to match the 512 and the 212, that's how it'll come out.
Sure.
From the left side, from the bay, that doesn't change at all.
No change at all there. That's gonna look exactly,
Other than the stone.
other than the stone on the bottom.
What are you doing for a cap on the stone?
They make a ledge.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah, to finish that off. But under the new porch, we won't do a ledge, we're gonna recede it enough so
Just about
the
to.
trim can come back. And the
Rim
trim will all be,
or on top of it.
yeah, and all the trim will be this phase out PVC trim.
That's the decking material.
This is the porch floor, tongue and roof composite, it matches the front door almost exactly, that's what they were after. Yeah, we're gonna shoot for the post to the one side of the center between the bay window and the octagon window, and the other side, we're gonna leave, it's about where it's at, it's probably gonna come to your right a little bit more. We weren't able to center the gable on the door, it would have gotten way too small as you shrink the ridge line for the small gable. You left it open. Other than that, everything behind it, the windows, the siding, that all stays untouched. The stairs are 4 feet wide and fall on the existing walkway. That's not a great representation there, but
So is the siding in the house all cedar shake or is it just the?
it's hardy. It's all hardy board siding. It's painted blue.
And stained wood?
It's painted. It's this material right here. It's like a cement board. This is what will go on the gable.
And the question is, the whole house that or is it just the gable?
The gable is like this, but the rest of the house is the same material, but it's a lap siding.
So it's lap siding, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, the photo's terrible.
No, I'm not trying to pick you, just, I don't have a problem with you, you know. difference in
I got a much better picture if you want to. You guys here.
What's going on right in this spot, what's this one?
That is just wood wall, that's foundation, that's really what the stone is for. You're gonna have the stone over there, but it's a little bigger.
We're gonna have the stone here and then.
Yep.
side of the garage.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a better, you can tell there's a different tone in color.
That's much easier to see.
Yes, I don't know why those came out.
No, that helps. Yes.
But that's it, about it, really. I mean, oh, the stone matches his chimney, kind of. The color of Terra Rosa is gonna be real close to the existing chimney he's got.
We don't have a sample of stone here, right?
Pretty close. Hard to come
Oh,
by.
yeah, pictures. I mean, it's a.
Physical, no.
Yeah, but-
It's gonna be this right here. Well, it's gonna be Lakeland lumber. I priced a few places, Lakeland lumber and everything will almost come from, so.
We're gonna just use some of it, and then.
Veteran lumber sells it, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, no.
I think on the, like, looking at this elevation, this is just a comment, I don't have an issue necessarily, but I'm just wondering, your stainless cable rails, if you're not gonna have intermediates. Between there, is that's.
Yeah, those aren't drawn in. There's a side view that shows that. That was my mistake. You have to.
Yeah, it's like this, it's the side, it's like this.
One, one by one, yeah.
Yeah,
There'll be an intermediate,
you have to, because if you don't, they technically don't pass code. Because you
right, you can pull further, which actually will look.
there it is. I don't know why I missed the front. Yeah, the beam will come down. The beam's gonna be 2 LVLs, so it's gonna stick down, and it'll all be wrapped in the white AZAC trim.
What about drainage?
Gutters tying into the existing, and there's a downspout right,
Is that the garage? Does it get there?
There's one right on the corner there, there's another one on the far side of the
Oh, I
house.
see.
So,
So you would drain it back to that gutter and then over to the existing house?
yes, that's the plan. And there is gonna be a small roof along the front of that gable. It's not well represented here, but it's gonna have a small roof to match the existing gable. You see the pictures there? The front of my little gable is also gonna have that little roof.
You're talking about the slope? Yeah, I think it's shown in the side elevation,
Yeah,
like that one.
yes, yes, which matches the existing, yeah, exactly.
That doesn't necessarily show up in front elevation.
Yeah, it shows up on the roof plan.
Oh, I see it.
Side elevation, yeah.
Any comments?
I guess other than it's two and 12 is gonna work for you in terms of.
It may get a little steeper, I'm gonna frame it up and kind of get it up there and see how far up a 212 travels on the existing. It's gonna be a minimum of 212.
Like some water and shingle over it.
I don't love shielding at 212, we're,
Yeah.
if we do steel, it'll be black steel. We're playing around with that idea. I'd like to get at least a 312 for that shingle. I just don't like that,
Yeah.
especially going into the valley.
So would it make sense to do a standing seam roof on that 212?
We haven't decided for sure. We're gonna shoot to try to get steep enough to get shingles, but if we do steel, yeah, it should be standing seam.
And it seems like that might dress up. That front elevation.
The pitch is flat enough that I can barely see it. You might see it a little bit, but it would dress it up a little bit for sure.
And I can even still you want to keep it that smaller deal.
Right.
Close, yeah. I don't know if you can be overhead.
I don't know, pick that up, because it's stepped back from that,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
if you raise the pitch on that to 312 or something, you put a standing seam roof in there. I mean, you're doing something that's somewhat more modern with the stainless steel railing for the stand.
The cable rail.
railings and the decking, that kind of thing. So, I think that would probably be a good move to put the standing seam roof over that shed area.
I'll recommend that to Jared, for sure.
Well, how do you feel about that? I think it makes sense to do that.
Well, either way, I think get you a 312 and take the roof a bit. At that point, I don't think it's gonna really make, then it's kind of a appearance choice. You want it to be seen similar commercial.
And the plan for doing the
I don't know that I
Match existing.
so that. And number three.
Yeah, my inclination is to leave it low and match the shingles. I don't know that I would push to raise it. And I think to your point, I don't know how much of it you're gonna see from the front.
You're not gonna see a whole lot. It's,
I get a little nervous about adding metal to that, and how that would look.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, though,
No, look at
if
the-
the existing shingles are, what are they gray and the metal's gray?
Well, looking at the roof plan, doesn't make sense to turn that, mistakes. I don't think,
I don't know if you would kind of,
I was thinking it was set back a little bit, it's a different front, but it's not.
if you get up enough that you're comfortable with the shingles, I think that's probably a better way to go.
yeah. And what I'll do is, I won't be the one doing the shingles, but it's gonna happen, obviously. He's gonna tear off the whole front of the house, shingles, put new shingles.
Entire front, okay, so yeah, that's a lot. That's a good idea.
But even when I build this, I'll ice guard the whole roof that I put on just for safety, because it's pretty flat, and
You get close to 3, you'll be fine, yeah.
that's the plan, get enough pitch. And you can see how that valley has no choice because of different pitches that grow a little bit. And all the way down on the right-hand side of the gate, that's where I have a 512 on the front, a 512 on the side. And they're both meeting at 212. That might have a small little dip, nothing you can ever see from the ground. I mean, it's 12 inches. That's the only real part of
You
it.
got that, look at the side elevation here where it's that secondary ratio, so you just see the left hander line there, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's insulation on the roof, but like this, it forms way down bottom. No, it's okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Also,
All in favor?
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks,
Ruth. You've been helpful. If I can see you later this week, okay?
Sure, sounds good.
What's the,
It's time for dinner.
Decided. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
have you eaten the across the street? That one? You just expanded. Food service. Was you coming out of Norton?
Yeah,
So you're away from him.
you go there. I'm a makeshift date night. My mom's with the kids for a little bit, so got some coffee. Not really a nice date.
Now we do.
Not a true date night.
Calmed a little bit there. Justin, how are the deer in your backyard? They're doing very well.
There's, yeah, the whole family of them.
Eight, 10 by the time.
We picked up three, my front door had to be knocking on the door. We picked up 3 dead ones this morning. Oh, we're all got hit by cars this morning.
And we've got the wind farm on the front door every morning, 5 or 6 in the morning, they come by and grazing on our infants.
We had 9 Saturday morning, which is the most we've seen this year.
There's a lot more wildlife around there. I grew up in Newbury, but a lot more stuff you see today than you did back then. Turkeys and the foxes.
Especially, I used to all see it, you see the coyotes.
We don't see coyotes, we do see there's red foxes around, varieties of birds of prey. And there was a text chain last night that somebody talked about bobcats. I'm not sure that's that.
We used to have, we grew farmers.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like this, so I keep like, 2 skeletons of that, they were on, right through the road, they thought, fucking coyotes, so we got.
They do.
Straight,
That's great.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, this. You get the deck and the rails.
And there's, we sometimes walk down Hawk and occasionally we'll see a bald eagle
And there's a firm.
flying around.
Yeah. Who's this supposed to be?
That's the existing deck of the house.
Taking that off?
The deck of the way, yeah.
So this is, item 4, please. ARB 2210, 112 Silver Spring, construct deck and pavilion, presented by Matt Largo, deck company.
I'm actually Jeremy, I'm not Matt. Matt was submitted everything.
Here's a little. So there's an existing deck, I'm gonna take that off,
Correct.
you're gonna construct a new deck on the back of this house. This is the back of the existing house,
Correct. Yep.
and the next slide is a side view of it. With the, is that a chimney?
Yes, that's correct as well.
And looks like you're just getting close to the top of that windowsill, but not on the windowsill. Can you go to the next slide? Next one.
That says existing, there's a little cable there, it's existing, just.
We're gonna tie it around, correct, yeah. The software might not truly show where that window sets, but we'll tie in with the existing cable instead.
Yeah, so you're not changing that,
Correct.
you're just bringing out. your roof over the pavilion. So here's what I'm seeing is that looks like it's gonna be a nice project. The information you submitted is a lot of pretty pictures, but there's not a lot of technical information here. You got engineering drawings that show that how you're doing your little, pieces, right? Your footings. And I appreciate that, that's important. You're, how you're gonna support that, you gotta, but we don't have drawings that show the scale, what's going on in elevation. And this drawing here doesn't seem to reflect necessarily what I understand the other parts that you're showing. I mean, it'd be nice if there was a scale roof plan and elevations that show what's going on, and part of me feels like that chimney's just really massive going up above the roof line.
Yeah, that's probably software related. I do have a elevation, like a side and a front facing elevation, of how that chimney's gonna be constructed.
Yeah.
So I do have that.
But, I mean, the point that I'm making here is that what you presented are, I don't know if it's sketch up or what you're using to put this together, but it certainly tells a story, but they're not technical drawings to scale that we can see portions and materials called out, so you got lists of materials, but typically there's drawings, and that's what it indicates on the requirements for submitting the architect review, first review. So I'm gonna table this until we come back with those.
So you need an elevation of the side of the
The two sides. and the
two
rear.
sides.
Yeah. Right.
Can you go back to the pictures to kind of sort of make sure I'm tracking again, which one do you want? Does it look like the one, are you on one from this elevation or more so facing?
There's three elevations. You need one from each side of the house. This is one side, you got the flip side on the back side of the chimney, and then you get the front side. Those are the rear of the house, right?
Oh, it's basically the porch, three sides of the porch, just the deck as well, so.
Yeah. Sure.
If you could go back up to the first.
And I did notice your fireplace, the flames are coming out, so the fireplace, I could be problem.
And you know, I mean, one question I have here is, if you have that massive stone, is that real stone? Or is that?
It's near, near.
Yeah, because I don't, it bothers me that you have, even if it's a veneer, it doesn't go to the ground.
Right.
That's a lot of floating stuff. So think about that when you come back with the other elevations.
Yeah, it just looks like a floating fireplace. Floating chimney, and, I mean, realistically, it would go to the ground, to the dirt. It'll authentic, and it doesn't. I mean, it's just, that your point's well taken.
So preference is you would prefer it to go to the ground.
I think we would want it to go to the ground, I don't think it's a preference, you're gonna do it.
Is that a code, is that due to code?
No, it's an architectural.
It's nice, I mean, instead of you got the skirting there, just, is it stick on or set here?
What kind of, is it Lincoln stick, is it?
It's Juno ledge stone, so it'll be delivered by, if it's not board, then was it on ledge stone?
Yeah, just drop the cement board on down, so, you know, you guys can't take it. You know, just.
You can't take it down the grade exactly, but you could take it.
We get it, so at least, so yeah.
Like it's landscaped out, so it looks like it's nearly great. Right now, it looks like it's, I mean, structurally, it doesn't look real. You know, aesthetically, it doesn't look real, because a stone chimney would be heavy.
Yeah.
It's typically constructed on a foundation, right? So, I think you can come back with something that's, you know,
So you need some more technical aspects to show the three elevations.
Yeah, I'm just showing,
Oh, the
yeah,
elevations.
it's the, what, like, posts what they're made of, ceiling.
All that stuff is called out in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how the fireplace is,
All the specifics on
together.
that are all put together. in
Yeah,
there.
you've got it. I mean, I understand you've got it. The materials called out in here. Typically, your elevations show that as well. You would do that, and you have a cross-section through the roof, through the fireplace, whatever, and there should be something that, there should be a cross-section here, which you've got a part of the section, it looks like, but that's not showing how it ties into the existing, I mean, like that.
Okay.
It's,
a simple, yeah, floor plan that has, I mean, you may have, you've got a lot of stuff here, but it's over, hopefully, we need to do this simple floor plan on it.
Plans, elevations, and section.
And, yeah, three elevations, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Is there anything that on the wood, we would need, make sure that the elevations you guys need?
Have them send it to you, to me as soon as possible, and
We
that's.
could probably get that tomorrow.
Oh, okay, the next meeting is, Mayor, what was the next meeting?
19, April 19,
Okay,
2 weeks.
so we can get out to you and then we'll get on board for that. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no. Wait, so this is turned off.
It doesn't.
Is that, do we have any old business, new business in the building? So we'll adjourn the meeting. Is it 6:35? Okay.
That was a rough one, guys. Sorry about that. That was a rough
I
one.
wish they didn't have this software.
I know, they think they're wizards and
They could have done this before.
Motion to
They could
approve.
have done this before.
stuff.